Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got to switch it up. My camera's out in front of me now, but welcome back. It's been a long time coming. NFL season has been over. No JJ, no Coach J. Don't worry, they're not going anywhere. They're coming back next season. We've got some fun stuff coming. A lot of you guys were requesting daily live stream content. You like our time slot 6 to 7. So we've been in the lab. We've been cooking a little bit. Introducing none other than Loeb's leads. Max is in the house. Max, it's a pleasure to have you, man.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am very, very excited to talk some ball.
You guys, as I know, have seen Max's content. Again, fantastic work, right? We're here to talk ball, NBA, NHL, NFL, even though it's the off season, and then some NCAA basketball. But I got to start. You watched the Cavs game last night, right?
I did watch the Cavs game
Was
last
that
night.
not one of the most insane buzzer beaters you've seen in some time?
It was unbelievable. I'm pretty sure it was the longest buzzer beater ever, right?
59 feet, I believe.
Yeah, ridiculous. I was watching a movie. Like, I wasn't even watching until the fourth quarter, and I looked back. He went, 5 for 5 on his last threes,
Yep.
Max Strus, 5 in a row. Obviously, that last shot, but they were down by 10 points with 3 minutes left in the game.
People hate on Max Strus. I don't know if you saw my tweet. I tweeted it was like second quarter. He was making those hustle plays again, and I was like, Max Strus is a winner. You can hate on him all you want. And then I ended up on flaming hot takes after
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, it was a fantastic shot. Again, guys, as you can see, we've got the new ticker scrolling as well. Every odds you could think of for the big games, brought to you and powered by BetJack, as always, is right there. We also have an offer every day. You guys know we have an OTP offer for you guys that bet with BetJack. Peter, go ahead and throw it up there. We got a hockey profit boost today, 25%. As you guys know, right, BetJack is edgy. The brand's edgy. So every day we've got new offers. We're going to have some, special promotions with Max. So we got some fun stuff to look forward to. But again, scan that QR code. Download BetJack today. Plenty of offers, plenty of new sign-up offers, 100% profit boost, up to $5,000 in bonus bets. So whatever you're feeling, go ahead, download the app, scan the QR code. But Max, let's start in the NBA because we just talked about it.
Yeah.
Cavs back-to-back. What are your thoughts on all these back-to-backs that keep being presented in the NBA? It's not only just the Cavs. At first, I thought it was just the Cavs, but you got, I think the day after the All-Star break, there was I think 12 teams on a back-to-back.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of back-to-backs?
From a player's perspective, I understand why they don't like it. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast, Pardon My Take, with Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, but they were talking a bunch about it and what Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla preaches on, because their past coaches were like, load management, take wear off these guys' legs, like let them, whether it's play half the game, don't play at all, like use back-to-backs almost as an advantage to your legs in the long run. Some coaches now, and it sounds like Joe Mazzulla, the Celtics, is doing this, they don't care.
Right.
Like, they are just playing their players, and I mean, it shows up in their record. But for the players' perspective, I get why they don't like it, right? It's a difficult thing to go play one and then go. Honestly, if you're on the road, it's even more difficult. Go play somewhere else. If you're at home, I get it, because it is a very normal thing to go to your house, go to wherever you're living, wake up, go play basketball the next day, whether it's a game or a practice. But if you're traveling to an unfamiliar thing, that's different for your body. It's different from your system. It's different, inherently different from what you're used to as a 2-3 day road trip. So from the player's perspective, I get why they don't like it. Selfishly, as a basketball fan, I love it. I love watching
More
the guys
basketball.
play. Exactly, more basketball. Never a dull moment. I like it. I do like it. I can see why the players don't, though.
Yeah, for sure. Now they have those, those thresholds and stipulations of you have to play X amount of games to be able to, be eligible for MVP or something like that.
Yes.
So, it's unfortunate, right? Guys like Joel Embiid, front runner for MVP, then they get hurt, and now they're not even in the conversation.
Yeah.
But for back-to-backs, I mean, so many of these top talents and these stars sit out. But again, let's start with the Cavs. Cavs Bulls in Chicago back-to-back. Injury report looks pretty clean. Alex Caruso is the only one for the Bulls. I believe he's listed as out. Let me double check. He's game time decision. So
Okay.
The Cavs are currently 5.5-point favorites. We'll just go spread for every game today. We won't even touch over under. I'm going to take the Bulls plus 5.5. And if you're a fan of mine or of a Cleveland Cavs fan, look, Darius Garland, I know there's a lot of controversy around him. You probably see it on a day-to-day basis, right? Lost in the Max Strus game last night. He shot 2 for 10 again last night.
Yeah.
I know the guy had his jaw wired shut for a month.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat anything but liquid.
Yeah.
But he's got to step up. And again, the Cavs, that was a bloodbath last night. Back to back. Luka, back and forth, Luka dropped, I believe, 47. So I'm going to take the Bulls plus 5.5 as the first pick with Max on the show. As you guys know as well, throughout the days, we'll come back and look at these picks, but I'm going to go Bulls plus 5.5. Which side are you leading on that one?
I'm on the same side. I also do think that on back-to-backs, obviously, you'll lose your legs a little bit the next game. The Cavs are going from home to Chicago. Granted, it's not that far of a trip, but it is a trip. And the Mavericks are a tough team. Like, they'll beat up on you. They've been playing really well recently, too. Luka, Kyrie, ever since the Grant Williams trade, like they've been playing good, more cohesive basketball. At least that's what I've seen. They've won a lot more games recently. That's a tough team that's going to beat you up physically. Obviously, when you have a player like Luka, you can win any game like that. You can keep a close game like that. I don't know. 5.5 points is a lot on a back-to-back. A lot on a back. And you're on the road,
especially
too.
on the road, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
So let's go back to, we mentioned it real quick, and as we go through these picks, we'll touch on the relevant topics. I think there's no question, right? Kyrie is the second best Cavalier of all time, right? I mean, you have to put him there. You have LeBron James, who's going to be number one forever.
Yeah.
When they bring up this debate, they'll say Donovan Mitchell, but I mean, Donovan Mitchell actually spoke about this very well. He said, Kyrie is a part of the only championship, that's been in here for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit the shot, right? Like, people want to say, like, LeBron carried this and that, and he did. It's LeBron James, but I mean, without Kyrie, you can argue you don't win the series.
I don't think you do,
right?
Without Kyrie, I'm with you. And even I don't know, thinking about players who have played in a Cavs uniform, the legacy they've had on the team. I don't think anybody but LeBron has had more of a legacy on the Cavaliers, more of an impact on the Cavaliers than Kyrie have. There have been more talented players that have put on that jersey. I think there's a lot of people that can agree with that, but no, you can't pick anybody over Kyrie except for LeBron, of course.
Yeah, number two for sure. Who knows, right? Like, there's all this back and forth about Donovan Mitchell. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to go to New York? I mean, that's a whole other discussion, right? I mean, there's just so much that ties to that. But we're both on Bulls plus 5.5.
Yes.
Pelicans Pacers on ESPN. ESPN doubleheader tonight. The Pelicans are 35-24, 18-12 on the road. But every time the Pacers play, I'm not necessarily looking at their opponent. Like, what the Pacers have been able to do, like, Tyrese Halliburton is a baller.
Yes.
He is so good. Miles Turner. Now you got Pascal Siakam over there. The Pacers are the one team that I don't want the Cavaliers to see in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
I just think they're just a good ball club. They have everything that you need. You got size again, Miles Turner, and he can stretch the floor because he can shoot, which is tough. But the Pacers are 6.5-point favorites at home. I'm going to take them to cover that spread. The Pelicans, I believe, I mean, they've been playing games since the All-Star break has resumed after play there. They've been playing a lot of games. They weren't on a back-to-back. I don't think they played last night, but they recently played the Knicks. But I am going to take the Pacers to cover that 6.5. Where are you leaning in that one?
I'm going to go New Orleans. I think New Orleans has been playing well recently. I think also when you look at
Zion's finally healthy.
Yeah. And like that's a huge thing too. But I look at what the Pelicans have gone through in the past week. Obviously, like that fight with the Heat that I'm sure you saw, Jimmy Butler. Like, it's a team that seems more unified. It's honestly very much like Dallas. I think for whatever reason, there wasn't a huge trade with the Pelicans, obviously, but for whatever reason, they're playing more cohesive basketball. It's clear to see that those guys want to play for each other too, and as they make a push. I don't know. I think, again, 6.5 points is a lot, especially if it's an Indiana team that's been a little bit inconsistent. I know Halliburton's been really good.
They have.
On paper, they're one of the better teams in the NBA.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't take them 6.5.
Yeah, prime time. You're right. I mean, I think it's gonna be 6.5. It's like NBA betting. It's like whenever you get to that like 5.5, 6.5, like that hook. I mean, I could see the Pacers winning this game by 6.
Yes.
And then you got the hook there.
Yeah.
But okay, we're split on that game. I like it. Mavericks Raptors is an interesting one. The Raptors are 22-36. When they signed Dylan Brooks, and they got they didn't sign Dylan Brooks. Sorry, he's on the Rockets. But when they made that trade, when they cleared house, they still have Scotty Barnes. OG Anunoby is who I was thinking of when they traded him. And now they have Quickly and RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on that trade? I know, we haven't been in touch for that long when it comes to the NBA, but like, does it fit the Raptors to have those guys there? Like, are they long-term pieces in Toronto? Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. It's cool to have RJ Barrett back in Toronto.
Yeah.
He's a Canada guy, but I just don't know. Like, now that they've moved on from these players, Siakam now too, like, what is their identity long-term?
It's tough to say because you have some really, really good players in Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, and even like Emmanuel Quickly has been playing well, but for their identity moving forward, like you traded your best player this year.
100%.
So for me, it's like, do they really believe in their identity? At least this year, probably not. Probably not. But again, that RJ Barrett trade, like you talk about doing everything you can to get a player who will wake up and want to play for your team. That is what they did with RJ Barrett. And he's talented.
No doubt.
Like he obviously had his struggles in New York and was kind of displaced by Brunson and Randall a little bit, but he is a very talented player. He can do a lot. And I think him and Scotty Barnes have really, really good things going. The Raptors, another team playing really good basketball. They have been hot lately. I know they're Toronto Raptors and there's still a lot to be desired with that team, but I don't know. I like Toronto tonight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raptors plus 3.5 too. Again, I mean, you got that Cavs Mavericks game last night. I mean, you're going across the border. I know it's not like you're going east to west coast, but you are going up to Canada. I'm with you. I'm going to take the Raptors in that game plus 3.5 at home. I could see them winning outright in that game.
I think so too.
Sneaky. NBA is tough, man. Like, do you bet NBA consistently?
I bet props consistently.
Props.
Yeah, props are more consistent. But again, like even then, I rarely bet straight props. Like I will look into straight props and bet probably one or two nightly.
Yeah.
I love trying to do the ladder challenge, taking my three or four best favorite props, watering them down and putting them in a parlay, but never have successfully completed it. That's for sure.
Ladder challenge, shout out what is his name? Calling Our Shot.
Yeah, Calling Our Shot. Yeah.
He was the one who blew up and went viral literally off of the ladder challenge.
Yes.
But he's never hit it, right?
No. I don't know if anybody has.
No, I think people have got to day 9, 10.
Yeah.
But how far have you got in the ladder challenge?
4. Yeah. See, like I will say though, most of the bets I place are at least plus 100. So there are better odds in that sense. I rarely do minus anything, but
it always feels good when you do the ladder challenge. You build it up, it looks mighty and dandy, and you throw that minus 500, 600 leg, and that'll be the one leg that doesn't hit.
Yes, and it like hypothetically, like looking at what a ladder challenge is, like those minus 500, 600, like those are things that you are almost positive will happen.
Yeah,
and then
more times than not,
yes,
the
exactly,
ones that don't hit for sure.
Exactly.
We'll have to do one. We're going to be coming in here, pretty frequently, even if it's, virtual some days, giving you guys daily content. We should build our own ladder.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
See how far we can get. Day 4, huh? Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough challenge. And plus, I feel like, staying on that for a second, it's like, somebody can feel free to comment on this, but it's like, if you get up to day 7, day 8, it's like, you're going to want to pull your money out of that.
Yeah. And
you're at like 1,500.
Yes. And one shout out to Will, Dr. Profit, if you're watching this, Will. One thing I've seen him do, his ladder challenge, I believe his parlays are plus, it's like plus 200 maybe or plus 160. Damn. So he only rolls over the profits. So like if he wins, he will keep 2/3 of what he wins and roll over the rest.
Right.
So he like if you get up to day 7, you still have money in your pocket as much.
So
as
whatever you stake, you're keeping.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
It's a financially smart way to go about this.
Yes, but it also means your parlay is gonna be harder to hit.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's give and take.
We'll build our own here soon, and we'll roll one out and see what we can do. Let's move on. Another game, 8:00. Grizzlies, Timberwolves. 41-17 are the Grizzlies. Or sorry, the Timberwolves. Grizzlies 20-38. Lost John Morant. Jaren Jackson is doing all he can to keep that ship afloat in Memphis. 21-6 at home. I'll just say this. Does it surprise you what the Grizzlies, I keep saying the Grizzlies, what the Timberwolves?
Well, I was going to say, you keep saying the Grizzlies because we thought the Grizzlies were going to be the team that was ahead. Yeah.
Seriously.
I don't know.
I don't think Anthony Edwards surprises me.
I don't think
he's a beast.
I honestly don't think the way Karl Anthony Towns has been playing surprises me either because he's a guy that I've watched for a long time and you've seen all the skills. It's just a matter of can he sustain that on a consistent basis and can the other guys around him just produce? I think Mike Conley was the biggest addition to that.
And they
team.
Just re-signed him, right? Didn't they extend him?
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert is another guy.
Yep.
Naz Reid.
Yep.
But then they have those role players like Jaden McDaniels, Kyle Anderson, who could come in every night consistently and get you some buckets off the bench, which is key. I mean, you see it, right? The Celtics are a team that is deep now. All these other teams in the NBA, especially the Timberwolves, they have key guys that can come in, even if, like, let's take the Cavs, for example. I keep going back to them, but, like, when the Timberwolves, if Anthony Edwards sits, they're going to be fine. Like, you see it. When Donovan Mitchell sits, the Cavs, they look like a bottom 5 Eastern Conference team, and the Eastern Conference is, it's not a cupcake walk. It's the NBA, but compared to the West, it's night and day.
Yes.
But the Timberwolves are 12.5-point favorites at home tonight against the Grizzlies. When you get above 10, the NBA, I know we talked about 5.5, 6.5. When you get above 10, I
That's a
mean,
lot.
I'm going to take the Grizzlies plus 12.5
Yeah.
because, I mean, we see it every day. We talk about it at work. Like, you can see teams, and this happens more than not, injuries, a bad team plays a good team at home. It's like, oh, it's going to be an easy cakewalk. And the books make their money off a team like the Grizzlies winning outright.
Yeah.
It happens, I'm not going to say more times than not, but you see it happen pretty frequently. I'm not going to take them on the money line, but I am going to take the Grizzlies plus 12.5. Are you bold enough to take the Timberwolves to cover, or are you going to go Grizzlies?
I'm going to go Grizzlies. The only reason I say that is because in not my last ladder challenge, 2 ladder challenges ago, I had who was it? It was a money line against the Grizzlies, who were double-digit underdogs, and the Grizzlies won the game. So I can't even.
Jeez.
Yeah, something with that. I don't know what it is. Like something with that team. All bad teams, like you said, you get up to that double digits. Just I don't know if they'll win, but they will cover more times than not. I'd be fascinated to see the number on that, but it just seems like a trap. It really does.
So we talk about no bet lists in the sports betting world all the time, whether it's a player, a team. I got to know, Max, are there any specific teams or players on your no bet list, even if it's in the NFL?
Yeah, well, the NFL, there's definitely some. I can start with NBA. I love Grant Williams. Grant Williams is like one of my favorite players.
You like betting on him?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Grant's a character.
He is a character, and like
he was just getting bodied by Draymond in this podcast.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And the crazy thing is, like, I will give Grant Williams props now. Got traded to Charlotte. They've played pretty well since he's gotten there.
Yeah.
Pretty well, like 500, but
right.
Better than what they have been. But I grew up in Boston watching the Celtics. So those past couple of years with Grant Williams, like he won a game 7 for them essentially against the Bucks. So love Grant Williams. I'm making both against the Cavs was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, probably in sports history.
Hilarious.
But I can't bet on him. Every time I do, it's bad. It never works.
Team?
It never works.
You got a team?
Oh, that's tough. NBA, no, I don't have a team.
You got to have an NFL team.
I have a couple NFL teams.
Let's get your top no bet team in the NFL.
I got 2.
It's got to be an average team, though, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be betting on like the Carolina Panthers of the world very frequently. So I'm interested to hear.
I can never nail a Cowboys spread. Never.
Cowboys.
Never.
I mean, Dak Prescott. They're hit and miss.
Yes,
right?
they are. They are hit and miss, and they win most games they're supposed to win. Especially last year, they did. But the spread, it got to a point where if they're at home, I was just betting them to cover.
Yeah,
but sometimes they didn't. Like that Detroit game, I can't remember the line. I want to say it was maybe 2.5, and they won by what, 1 or 2 out that 2 point. No 2-point conversion. Excuse me.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, they're gonna win at home. Nope. Dallas definitely. If I had to pick an AFC team, ooh, that's tough. Going through, probably Houston, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I also have bet against Houston a bunch, and that has not worked out.
Backfires.
Yeah, it never works out. But
I mean, they had that game against the Bengals where everyone took the Bengals.
Yes, I definitely did that.
Like Tyler Boyd dropped that touchdown in the end zone, so they won. But interesting. I always love getting no bet lists from people because, I mean, everybody has, their do's and don'ts and what they like and what they don't like. But let's get back to the NBA. Kings Nuggets, 2 more games. Nuggets are 7.5-point favorites in that game. Again, guys, as you can see, QR code's up there. Download BetJack. Go ahead and feel free. Daily promotions. Every big game is on that spread down there. Again, we're talking Kings Nuggets. The Nuggets, so they played the Warriors a couple days ago in Golden State, and everyone was taking the Warriors, and I just kept telling me, it was like the Warriors are red hot. They're so good. You would have thought the Nuggets were missing some key players, with the way people were taking the Warriors. And sure enough, the Nuggets on the road in Golden State, kind of cooled them off a little bit. Won that game, I believe, by like 12 or 13 points. But at home against the Kings are also they're probably the most hot and cold team I think I've ever seen in the NBA.
Yep.
Domantas Sabonis is a stud, 20 points per game, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. De'Aaron Fox, as you know, but like you can get a borderline top 3 Western Conference team out of the Kings one night, and then you can get a play-in Kings, if not worse. So I'm going to err on the side of caution here, and I'm going to take the Nuggets. I'm going to take them to cover the -7.5. I think this is one of the nights where the Kings play like the Kings that you don't want to see on a night-to-night basis.
I'll rock with the Kings then. I'll take the 7.5, and I'll rock with the Kings. I don't know. I like Domantas Sabonis. I think he's like, whenever you hear Kings, you think De'Aaron Fox, and like rightfully so. Unbelievable talent. But I don't know. I think Domantas Sabonis has shown a lot the past probably year and a half or so, more 2 seasons ago and last year, but year and a half. I don't know. I think he's another really good player that can do a lot. And again, when the lights are the brightest and De'Aaron Fox is, taking 20-ish shots a game, somebody else is going to have to step up, and I know he can. So I'll take this 7.5 for sure.
All right, so we're split there. Kings, Nuggets, back-to-back. The last game of the night is probably the best one. Lakers-Clippers on ESPN. Yeah. No Paul George still.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to give it to the Clippers. I don't care if they copied the Columbus Clippers on their rebrand. Can we get the people who are doing the rebrands out in LA for the Clippers to rebrand like the Cavs or something? I mean, they did a fantastic job.
They did, yeah.
The logo is, I will say, it's very similar to the Clippers. Yeah. But their jerseys are absolutely fantastic.
They are. And this is, I think tonight is the last time, at least guaranteed, because, they could play each other in the playoffs. The last time the Clippers and Lakers will play each other under the same home stadium.
That's right. They're moving.
Yeah. And that new stadium looks crazy, too.
It does.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that whole, wall thing that they have. I don't know, but it looks crazy.
It does, yeah. The Clippers are 3.5-point favorites at home. You call it home.
Yeah.
Same spot like you mentioned, without Paul George. I'm going to take the Lakers plus 3.5, and I think I might take them to win the game.
Okay.
They're 11-19 away. Again, this is not an away game for them. Look, LeBron, I watched them play the other day against the Suns. We know LeBron James, right? He's competitive. He's fiery when his teammates are not playing up to his standard, because clearly LeBron has his own standard.
Yes.
He will let his coaches. We've seen so many times he looks like he's ready to punch Darvin Ham upside the head. He hasn't yet, but it's looked like that a couple times. But I just think with the way they're playing 31-28, they're not great. They're sitting right there at the median. I think they're going to get it done again with a PG list Clippers. I think they get it done. I love Spencer Dinwiddie going to LA to the Lakers. Yeah. I know he's had a really, really, really bad year shooting threes, but I'm going to take the Lakers.
Okay. I'm going to rock with the Clippers. I think this is, I don't know. When you look at the teams in the West, I think the Nuggets are the best team. Obviously, it's very close at the top right now, but I think the Clippers are right behind them, even without Paul George, to be honest with you. I've loved what I've seen from James Harden this year.
Yeah.
I didn't know, if you would have told me that Kawhi, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and even Paul George, you can say Paul George too, would have all been on the same team and it would have worked, I would have laughed in your face. I would have thought there was no way. So there's something with chemistry-wise there that I'm surprised about, and I think it's very real. I think it's a Russ and Harden thing, I'm not going to lie, but it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, shout out James Harden. You're not watching this, obviously, but I have hated on you nonstop. And you're making it work in LA, as Max mentioned, spot on with his take there. Same thing. When I saw that trade go through, I thought it was going to play out like every other trade James Harden is involved in. Yeah. It's going to be a nightmare. The Clippers are doomed. And here they are. I mean, it started bad. I think, when they first got James Harden, the Clippers, they go 0-4, 0-5?
Yeah.
And then they just rattled off. I mean, they're 37-19 now, and I agree with you. They are, they're 3 games out of first place, but you're right. It's a mix-up up there. The Timberwolves are in first place in the West. The Boston Celtics are obviously in first place in the East. Since we're launching some new content with Max, it's going to be consistent. Again, welcome aboard. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Let's get your NBA Finals prediction today as we sit, again, as somebody that's new coming in, joining the team. Give us a Finals prediction today, and then we'll compare that in the summer and see where you lie.
I placed 3 NBA futures before, or 3 finals and conference finals futures before the season started. I'm going to stick with them. I have the Celtics out of the East. I have Phoenix out of the West.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I picked that in September. So I'm going to stick with it. They have the firepower to do it. It's more of a, can they put it together type thing, but I'll stick with that. And I have the Celtics over the Suns.
So did Bradley Beal sell you on that when you went to bet it? You said you bet at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Right. Was it Bradley Beal, the addition?
Honestly, no, it was a full year of Kevin Durant.
Full year of Kevin Durant?
Yeah. I think he's one of the best players ever. So
he's good.
I trust that with them getting rid of Ayton, keeping Ayton out, to be honest. I thought that was a huge plus for them and their overall team chemistry. Booker, Beal, Durant, and I just still hoping they can figure it out outside of them, which Grayson Allen, it was good for the first half of the year. I don't know how to feel about that team outside of those 3 guys, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to stick with my word. But I do have the Celtics winning it all. over the Suns.
I do like Royce O'Neal to Phoenix as well.
Yeah.
I think he's a good piece, but Suns interesting. I
Yeah.
think obviously it was beginning of the year take, right? So nobody can knock one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, KD, I'm with you. I mean, he's one of the greatest. I don't know if I want to say players. Scorers, no doubt. No doubt.
That's fair.
He's lengthy. You know, people sometimes question his defense, but I think he can play defense at a pretty.
I think he can. We tries.
Yeah, that's the key, right? I mean, even James Harden, like,
yeah,
you know, but the Suns. It's interesting, right? So you're going to stick to your guns. You're going to go Celtics over the Suns. You're right. I mean, they have the firepower. Playoffs in any sport are just a different animal. If you get in and you start clicking, you can go on a run.
Yes.
Do whatever you have to do. So, interesting. All right, we're gonna go to the NFL before we get into the other sports here to close out. We're gonna go over there's only 2 NHL games, and then we'll cover some college hoops. NFL is obviously, as you guys know, you guys love when we talk NFL over here on the Taking the Point show. Again, no Jay Gruden tonight. He's probably golfing somewhere warm. JJ's probably got his kids at flag football practice. He's going to call in. He's going to be a regular part of the show, so he'll be joining Max tonight whenever he can. But NFL Combine, right? And this is your bread and butter, NFL, right? This is your thing. What are your thoughts on the Combine? And I know that's kind of a very vague and kind of, surface level question, but I feel like this year more than any other year, we're seeing not controversy surrounding it, but like you got your Drake Mays of the world not throwing, like Marvin Harrison. Is he even doing anything in the Combine? No. Right. So like,
actually, I don't know. He's gonna be there though. I know that.
I saw him pull up today. Yeah. But so, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you read into any of this, less participation out of your top prominent names? What are your overall thoughts on it?
I think it'd be different if the guys weren't showing up.
Just packing it all together.
Yeah, because you still have guys like Caleb Williams. I don't think Jaden Daniels is doing much. I know Drake May came out today and said he's not throwing, but like I know for a fact Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels are in Indy.
Let me cut you off real quick. I apologize. Why do people hate Drake May?
I don't know.
I think Drake May's good.
You know what it is? To be honest with you, I know exactly what it is. I think it is the fact that he went to North Carolina, and you've had 2 bad experiences with Mitch Trubisky. I don't even know if you want to call Sam Howell a bad experience, but Mitch Trubisky was not good. Sam Howell, not great. You see that North Carolina Blue, and this is I'm sure there's a real psychological thing. You see that. You see a quarterback literally wearing number 10. You think one of those 2 guys. I don't get it. I don't get it. I will say I do think Jaden Daniels is better, but
I would agree.
I
would agree.
I don't know, like the comparison between those guys, like they don't play the same at all. No. Drake May is, you could say he's an athletic freak. Like he is unbelievable running the football. Really, really special running the football. Reminds me more of like, I hate to compare people to Josh Allen. Nobody's Josh Allen, but reminds me more of Josh Allen than those other guys. That's for sure. And I hate that comparison. I hate the UNC quarterback.
Ben says, love Max NBA takes. Who knew he was multi-sport? I told you,
Ben.
man.
Appreciate
it.
Guys,
Max can do it all. But back to the Combine now. Again, we're happy to have Max on board. The Drake May slander I think is getting too much for me. I really do.
Yeah.
But again, I'll let you continue. Overall thoughts on the Combine and people not participating. Is Caleb Williams showing up this year to the Combine?
Yeah. Well, he has meetings scheduled. I know that.
Gotcha.
So I assume he'll be there. I hope they're not virtual. But yeah. So I think it'd be different if those guys weren't showing up. I honestly think for years we make a big deal out of the Combine, and I mean, like, trust me. I make content. I love it. I love talking about that stuff. It gives me stuff to talk about in the offseason. But at the same time, like, you can only see so much from somebody running in shorts and a T-shirt, throwing in shorts and a T-shirt. Like, you have to cut on the film to see what these guys are really like. And I do think maybe if you want to read into it, you can see how somebody is as a person with them not wanting to do certain things. But this day and age, something could pop, something could be pulled in these drills, and something like your life could change.
So you think injury is a big reason why you see these athletes not partake?
I think it is a reason. Probably the biggest reason. Yeah, I think there's a lot, but it's probably the most prominent. I don't know why athletes lean to do it all in a pro day. Maybe it's a comfort thing. Maybe it's honestly, it's a less pressured environment. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's a comfort thing, but for me, I've always seen the Combine as a stretch of days where the mid to late round guys can push their name up. That's what
100%.
I've always seen the combine as.
100%. Yeah, I would agree there. I mean, yeah, you got the 40-yard dash, which, I mean, it seems like every year you hear the people who cover the combine, right? Like that, they use the 40-yard dash as one of the more, like, okay, if this guy has speed, I mean, you can move him around, whether it's defense, right? If it's a running back or a tight end in speed, you can put him in the slot receiver, whatever the case is. I think people just overall, yeah, I'm with you. I think it is used for those, I'm not gonna call them bubble guys because when they get drafted, but those late round guys, I think you're spot on there. But as far as the top guys go, I'm with you. I think injury is a big reason why they're not. And I just think overall, I mean, you've seen these guys play at the college level. What are you going to get out of them throwing with no pressure?
Exactly.
Nobody covering their receiver. I'm right there with you. One draft question that I have for you is, what's going to happen with JJ McCarthy? It is a question that I think a lot of people are talking about, a topic. Yeah. We touched on it off air, right? You've got Atlanta, where you have the Justin Fields of the world. Yeah. People are mentioning even Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. You've got some interesting takes from other players that I'll save when we get into later on the show down the road. But is JJ McCarthy really going to be, and I have a hard time believing this, but every mock that I see, I really see JJ mocked higher than Bo Nix. Is Bo Nix really going to be a lesser of an NFL quarterback than JJ McCarthy? I it's not just because he's a Michigan guy, all right? Like, I know I hate Michigan, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is good, man. Or do we think that Bo Nix doesn't have transferable skills that can't translate from college to pros? Maybe my question is more so, why is Bo Nix a second round prospect according to a lot of draft analysts?
I think with the first original question, I think it is completely circumstantial on where these guys end up, because I think there's so little that separates McCarthy and Bo Nix, to be honest with you. I don't think there's much. I have seen some of the flaws in Nix's game, especially as the year went on and more high pressure. Like that game against Washington was the second game, excuse me, was
rough.
Not great. Yeah. You see some of the flaws there. I also think when you look at JJ McCarthy just on film, the biggest flaws are things that I think can be corrected pretty easily, to be honest with you. It's not forcing throws. It's decision making that gets improved circumstantially. Like, you could wind up in a great system, fix it in a year. You could wind up in a bad system, be in your fourth year, and you don't even know if you're going to start in your fifth. Like, that to me is circumstantial. I don't know. I think this is just a generally weak quarterback class. I think there are a lot of quarterbacks in free agency and I guess trades that people would want to take advantage of instead of drafting a guy like McCarthy or Nix. Like, if you're telling me Justin Fields, who's a couple of years older than these guys, you can compare him to Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy, I'd rather have Justin Fields. You can talk about those guys, I mean, compared to Kirk Cousins, who's really old, like comparatively at least, and say, who would you rather have, even if it's just for 3 years, 4 years with Kirk Cousins? Probably rather have Kirk Cousins. Like, I don't think there's a lot of opportunities for these guys, and the quarterback needy teams will take Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. I think Michael Penix as well. I think there's not a huge gap, but those top three guys, Penix below them, and then there is a sizable gap between JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, and then those top four guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is a great point, right? Like, you said 3. Some people say 5. Let's just use 4 years as the median here. Would you? Let's just touch on the free agency class, and again, we'll throw trade in there too.
Yeah.
Next 4 years, would you rather have? I'll say Russell Wilson just because he's a name out there. I don't think he's going to be your choice here.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, or Justin Fields. Next 4. Knowing what you know about injury history with Kirk Cousins and the Achilles, the turnover issues with Justin Fields. Yeah. Obviously, he's got crazy upside. And then Russell Wilson, people like to hate on Russell Wilson because I think it's popular and it's fun.
Yeah.
But Sean Payton, they just didn't like him.
They didn't like him.
They did not like him. And he didn't have a bad year by any means last year, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But next 4 years, one of those 3 guys, who would you take?
I think if I really believe in my system and it fits Justin Fields, I'm taking Justin Fields. I think people will take Kirk Cousins for the immediate Super Bowl window. And granted, if you're going to a team that's built to win now, like, I get it. But if you want the most out of a player, you believe in your system, Justin Fields, I personally think they have done everything to screw him up possible.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's been really bad. This was the first year the offensive line was like sensible, like could hold up a little bit. This is also the first year he had a true number one receiver. It's tough to gauge somebody. Granted, he wasn't like really good this year, but it's tough to gauge somebody on 1 year of being in an adequate system. I would take my chance, to be honest with you. If I trust my team, I trust my system, and honestly trust my defense too, because it's a holistic team thing. But I take my chance with the upside.
I would love to see Fields in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that is like, it's not going to be a given. Definitely is my prediction. But
Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I mean, they have some studs in Atlanta.
One of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and they got cap space.
They do tons. So, I mean, you could bring in a receiver, bring in another one. I mean, I think they're like, they don't need one, right? No. Get some more help on defense. Yeah. It's going to be a really fun offseason for the NFL. Thoughts, and then we'll go to the other two. We'll cover some NHL and then NCAA basketball before we wrap up. Get you some more bets. Thoughts on the cap space increase? And I just got to say, like, everyone wants to make fun of the Browns and the Deshaun Watsons. Like, they keep saying, oh, they're pushing this back. They're going to backload the contract. But who knows? Maybe Andrew Berry and company knew that, hey, this is coming on down the road. So if you keep pushing it down, in theory, it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, right?
Yes, technically it does. There's no way anybody could have predicted the media spike this year.
Yeah, that's a big-time spike.
Yeah, shout out Taylor Swift. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's
Swifties are Cavs fans now. We were talking about it.
Yes, they are.
They're coming over to Ohio.
Maybe they'll become Browns fans one day too. But no, I think it's unprecedented that this happened. Like, you talk about backloading a contract, you understand that the cap will increase every year. That's kind of how it goes. It's just circumstantial based on a lot of different things, but it goes up every year. So that's why you do backload it. It makes the Deshaun Watson contract look better. That is for sure. It makes a lot of the quarterback contracts that have been signed in recent years better.
Your boy Danny Dimes.
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
People even question what they're going to do with him, because so he's guaranteed, what is it? How much this year? But he's not either, whatever the number is. He's not guaranteeing anything next year, right?
Yeah, they can cut it off next year, which is why I don't think they should take a quarterback with their first round pick. But they
can't.
No, they can cut that off next year if they really want to. I'm fascinated to see what they do, because
I don't think he's that bad.
I don't either. I think
when I watched Giants games last year, I know, Peter, your mic's not hot, but like, I know you watched some of the games too. Like, you could drive a Mack truck through the holes that the defensive lineman and linebackers had to run through. Like, he had no time.
And like,
Darren Waller got hurt.
Yeah. That to me was just a bad move. The Waller trade.
You think?
It's a bad move looking at how they're using him now. In the moment, I was like, this is great. He finally has a number one weapon. But in the moment, or looking back at it now, bad move in the sense that the trade was essentially Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller. That's how the picks wound up. That's how the trade worked. So I do think, like,
Tony's not doing anything in KC.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's tough to figure out a winner of that trade. But
yeah, I would agree.
I don't know. You're right. They can't protect Daniel Jones. They couldn't run the ball very well. But it's the perfect storm, because Daniel Jones, he's gotten better at this. But Daniel Jones is potentially the worst starting quarterback in the NFL when he's flustered.
Really?
Yes, it is. The decision-making is so bad. And it's gotten better. Ball security's gotten better. Even the turnovers have gotten better just overall. It is still so bad. It's still so bad. It's the perfect storm.
Will Saquon be back next year?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. I think the cap space increase helps a lot.
On a 1 year, or they think they sign him for a couple?
Probably 2 or 3.
Couple.
Yeah.
Saquon's a stud.
He is.
Not only does he give you what he can give you out of the backfield, but he is up there with the pass catching backs. Yeah. So he's dangerous.
Very much so.
So I think you did a mock draft video I watched. Yeah. But are they going to go O-line, you would think, right?
I think receiver.
Yeah,
I think the 3 quarterbacks will go in the top 3.
Who's the Giants number 1 right now?
Wandale Robinson, probably.
God.
But he's not bad.
They got to go receiver.
He's
Hang
their
on.
slot guy. He's their slot guy. So they need somebody more physically imposing on the outside. 3 quarterbacks, Marvin Harrison. It's just a matter of what the Chargers do at 5, assuming there's no trades. I don't know. I could see them taking Brock Bowers, but
draft's going to be fun.
It is going to be really fun. Hopefully we don't see any trades soon. Like, I think we will see if the Bears want to trade anything, pick or Justin Fields. I think we'll see that soon, but hopefully most of the trades come in that draft week, because that is the best week of the year. It's nonstop action.
No doubt. Do you think the T. Higgins getting the early franchise tag has anything to do with the potential trade coming there? Or
It's tough to say because the Chiefs just did it with L'Jarius Sneed today.
They did.
They allowed him to seek a trade.
I did see their focus is Chris Jones now.
Yeah.
Signing him.
Which is a good focus.
Oh, no doubt.
But I don't know. If I'm the Bengals, like, as good as the AFC North is, I still think the Bengals, Browns, and Ravens all have the talent to be the best team in that division.
Yeah,
I think
no doubt.
they can all compete. They can all compete for a Super Bowl too. I think the Bengals kind of have to see that. They have to see where they're at with Joe Burrow. It's going to be weird because they're going to have to pay Jamar Chase too. They're not. I can promise you, they're not going to let Jamar Chase walk.
No.
I don't know. I could see them. My first mock I actually did, I had them not signing T. Higgins and trading up to draft Rome Odunze because I thought,
Wow.
I think they have ammunition to trade up, to be honest with you. I really do.
They do need a tight end.
Yeah.
You
Brock
mentioned
Bowers is very, very fascinating.
They also need O-line. Like, we keep seeing clips of Joe Burrow out at Phoenix Suns games.
Yeah.
He still can't use his right hand.
I know. That's crazy. I saw that.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So, like, is there something we don't know about that wrist? Like, is the ligament damage worse than what people are saying? I mean, I'm not ready to say Joe Burrow's injury prone. I know sometimes I think I put it out there on Twitter as kind of just a joke to fire up Bengals fans, but seriously, he's hurt a lot.
Yes. He's been hurt, more than he's not been, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he had the ACL
I guess
tear.
It's 2-2 seasons. 2-2. 2 healthy, 2 injured.
Yeah, but I feel like once you get to 2-2, it feels like statistically it's probably equal 2-2. But when you're that even keeled, it feels like you're just hurt way more than you're not.
That's true.
But I mean, there's some weird stuff coming out of Cincinnati with that wrist. I don't know if he's. I mean, I'm not going to say if because it's the truth. I mean, he is what's going to make that team go.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you can't protect him, who cares if you have Jamar Chase, Higgins? Even if they traded for Justin Jefferson, which Bengals fans living in a fantasy world think that might happen.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's unrealistic though. I really don't.
No.
If they trade T. Higgins,
if they trade T. Higgins,
they can't have all three of them. That's for sure.
God,
I think there's more like fantasy world backing than there is logical backing.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Bengals and I want to go all in on a Super Bowl now with my offense, that is the.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is like
it's the best direction.
If you trade for Justin Jefferson, like if they don't protect Joe Burrow, I don't think it matters.
I don't know because that's what everybody said when they lost in the Super Bowl. And granted, that's why they lost the Super Bowl, but they still got to the Super Bowl.
True.
So I don't know. That was a tough game, though.
There were some calls. They probably should have won that Super Bowl. I don't like saying that, but they probably should have.
Could have gone either way, that's for sure.
We're going to have a lot more NFL talk and content for you guys as we continue. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of daily stuff with you guys. We've got two huge guests lined up this summer. I cannot tell you guys who yet. We don't know the dates, but they revolve around the NFL. Let's do some college hoops. Are you a big college hoops guy?
Yeah, I love it. I will tell you, I'm more involved when March rolls around. And it's
I think everybody. Yeah, for sure. Everyone is. Team college hoops. Do you root for a specific team or are you just a fan of the game?
I was a huge Coach K guy. I loved Coach K. I loved watching Duke. It's definitely taken a step back without him. But for me as a social media guy, I love seeing Jared McCain's success. That's great stuff. I'm rooting for Jared McCain above anybody else.
So Duke plays Louisville tonight. They are 20.5 points favorites at home.
Oh, man.
Louisville's 3-13 at ACC. Duke's 12-4. I tell you what, 20.5 it's an ACC game.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And every time you play these conference games, they just seem to be closer than what you think.
Yeah.
So do we really want to take Duke 20.5?
I think I'm going to
really
after the court storming game.
Let's talk about court storming while we're here.
Yeah.
Like we have had years and years and years and years and years and years of people storming the courts.
Yeah.
And it's never been an issue. Everyone finds it to be, it's part of the atmosphere. We were texting back and forth. I was at the Purdue-Ohio State game in Columbus. I sat in one of the very last rows, so I couldn't storm the court.
Yeah.
But it's part of the game.
It is part of the game.
Like, and honest to God, I'm not trying to be controversial here, but like what was the athlete's name? I'm drawing a blank that got injured.
Is Kyle Filipowski?
Yes. I'm not trying to be controversial here, but it looked like he initiated some of that contact. Did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw this. It's hard to see in slow-mo. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Slow-mo, but I saw the slow-mo of it.
Anyways, you got all these analysts on College Game Day and whatnot, and I'm not even going to use their names because I can't. I don't want to. Why is it all of a sudden this like, oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world. What are we going to do to fix this issue? Like, let the kids be kids. Like, is there even a solution? I mean, you can't rope it
No.
off. Kids are going to trample through that.
Yeah.
I saw they want to propose this like 1 minute rule where the players go into the student section and like, is there a solution? I don't think there is.
I don't mind that. Like keep everybody off the court for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, you try.
Yeah.
Like, you know how much staffing you would have to have there, though? They also mentioned, though, like on the inverse, like, it's hard for the players to remember this, but like the players run to the student section and celebrate with them for like a minute. And then once you get the away team off the court, then boom, everybody can go out on the court and celebrate.
Yeah, you're right. It would take a lot of staff to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
there was
good.
a trusted network TV source that proposed, and I do think this is biased because he went to one of the schools that had a player get injured with court storming. He proposed you let students rush the court, almost like detain them and arrest them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And like at that point,
2024, we're going to get arrested for storming a goddamn basketball court.
Yes. It's crazy. But I don't know. You can't tell them no. Like it's part of the game.
100%.
And honestly, like when kids are high school seniors touring colleges, like they're going for college college basketball. Like that's an atmosphere thing.
That Duke Wake Forest game, I will say, like, let me bring it back a little bit and say, like, Wake was favored in that game.
Yeah.
I know it's a huge game. I know it's Duke Wake Forest. I know the students were camping outside for that game.
Yeah.
If your favorites, like, I'm not storming the court over winning a game you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like Vegas knows, right? Like they know. Like I know it's a huge rivalry, but it's like, I mean, for example, like I'm trying to think of comparison, and you can help me out here, but that would be like, I know people don't do it in the NFL, but let's just say they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be like Browns Steelers. You're playing in a week 14 game. Browns are favored by a field goal, and you storm the field after you win at home. Like, I don't think it was worth storming the court in that game because they were favorites, but I just don't think there's a solution. And if there is, I'm all ears. But I mean, again, it goes back to like, I get it, right? It is 2024. Things are changing, but man, it's been fine for the past since college basketball's existed.
Yeah, it has been. I think the NFL equivalent would be an underdog team within a division winning at home. Like it's a divisional game to me. And honestly, that was an interconference game, I guess. Duke Wake Forest too. But it'd be like a divisional team who beats like they're the underdog and they beat another divisional team at home. Like any given Sunday, there's a reason those divisional games are some of the most hotly bet games because they're always close. Like, I get it. It's Duke. I also think that's very different. Duke is this pedestaled basketball team, so I get that too.
Yep.
I wonder when the last time they beat Duke was too. That may have been something to do with
it. I don't know. That's a good question. It probably played into it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, camping out for a game.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Have you ever camped out for a game?
No.
Or anything?
No.
I mean, I didn't even used to camp out for video games when like Call of Duty was in. Like, have you ever camped out for? And I will take that back. This might sound a little bit whatever you want to call it. I did camp out when the Browns released their 75th anniversary. I didn't camp out. I went there at like 6. The doors opened at 10. I sat outside for 4 hours.
I've never camped out. I'm trying to think if I've waited for any. That was probably worth waiting for though. 4 hours.
We were actually the first ones in line.
Yeah,
they let us in first. We went down on the field. Actually took a picture. It was sweet.
Cool. Yeah, like that was probably worth waiting for. Waiting like days camping out is crazy. I've definitely never camped out. I don't think I've ever waited for a really long time for something.
No. Yeah, that was a max for me. It was a couple hours, and it wasn't worth the wait for my buddy because I bought Myles Garrett. He bought Baker Mayfield. So it's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. Wow.
But let's keep going through some college basketball games here. Let's do South Carolina, Texas A&M at 8:30. It is at Texas A&M rather. South Carolina is in the top 25. They're ranked 18th. And again, you guys can see that game's probably coming up here on the bottom of the ticker. Texas A&M is actually favored 5.5. I know it's at home. It is an SEC game. Texas A&M is 6-8 in the ACC. South Carolina is 10-4. Shout out South Carolina. I was upset that he didn't stay, but Michi Johnson, when he was at Ohio State, was so fun to watch.
Yeah, he was fun.
They took him from us. He's carrying South Carolina. I'm going to take South Carolina plus 5.5 on the road in the hostile environment at Texas A&M.
It seems like a trap. It
does
favorite at home. I'm with you. I'll go South Carolina plus 5.5 on the road too. I hate betting on road teams in college basketball, but 5.5 points is also a lot in college basketball.
Joey says, let's hear the ice football power rankings.
Oh, geez.
I saw that video that you.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is insane. Honestly, shout out to my mother. She's the one who sent it to me.
Let me ask you. Do you know if you can bet on ice hockey or
I
ice
do.
football?
I don't know, but I have seen hundreds of comments asking. Hundreds.
You probably, I mean, Bovada, something out there. You
Yeah.
could probably bet on it somewhere.
We'll have to figure that out. Maybe we'll.
So, did you find out more information on this ice football? Like, is it a league?
It is a league. It is an organized league.
That's
I do know
crazy.
that. It is crazy. I want to say it's 5v5. Obviously, they're not wearing skates. I know a couple people wanted skates. Guys, if you had skates in ice football, what would happen if you got like that'd be really bad, really fast. But no, it looks like they're wearing like bowling shoes. If you want to say running around on ice, but they're not.
Yeah. That's crazy. We're gonna see. I mean, there's already crazy sports out there, clearly, but I think as time progresses, so I didn't know this last year. It's not the same thing because ice football is in its own stratosphere. But I was watching TV last year, and there was it was a Republican Democrat baseball game. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yes. Yeah.
I had no idea it was a thing. I was scrolling through my TV, and I was confused as ever that was on my TV. But your mom found you the ice football?
Yes, and she sent it to me on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now she's got you a very nice piece of content.
Yes, very much so.
Shout out Max's mom if you're watching. Let's keep rolling. A couple more college basketball games on the night. We've got like 8 more minutes left. If you guys are new, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. That's all we ask. We're going to keep rolling. We're very excited for this in the coming days and weeks. Alabama Ole Miss, another SEC game. It's funny enough, another SEC game, another top 25 team that's on the road, and you've got another 5.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Ole Miss in this one, actually. Both of them are 19-8 overall, and I know overall records in college basketball don't speak to how really good the team actually is because you see the beginning of the year, look at Ohio State, right? They play nobodies. But I'm going to go Ole Miss at home to cover that plus 5.5. Do I know a ton about Ole Miss? No. But I know Alabama is beatable.
Yeah, Alabama is beatable. I'll roll with Alabama. Okay. I think the points are a lot, and you said it's at Ole Miss, correct?
It's at Ole Miss.
Steers me away a little bit, but I will roll with Alabama.
Okay. Arizona State. Arizona was just defeated.
Yeah.
Who did they lose to? Was it No, it was not Seton Hall. Was it let me see.
Creighton, maybe?
Where are we at? Washington State. They lost to Washington State. Washington State's got a pretty sneaky good team. They're ranked 21st this year.
Yeah.
Arizona State, obviously, it's a big game. Arizona State. I'm going to take Arizona State again. Another thing about college basketball is I always love betting the home team.
Yeah.
Like if you're picking a side in college basketball, I'm 9 times out of 10 I'm taking the home team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Arizona State to cover the 11.5. That is a double-digit number against an Arizona team that has been vulnerable as of late.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take them plus 11.5.
Love that. I'm going with you. I have a very good friend at Arizona State. Shout out Jacob Brooks, JB. He actually covers some of the teams there too. So I'm going to rock with them. I'll say they'll win outright. I think Arizona State can win outright tonight. Yeah. I will definitely take the 11.5, but I think they can do it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that would be 2 big upsets if Arizona falls here.
Very much so.
Seton Hall does play Creighton tonight. So that's another good game. It's a Big East game. Creighton's 9.5, and I'm not buying that number either. I tell you what, they have the same record in the Big East. Creighton's 11-6, Seton Hall's 11-5. So Seton Hall actually has one less loss. I'm taking Seton Hall plus 9.5 on the road against Creighton. Creighton's a good team, but again, I mean, I've seen them play this year. They always put them on at Fox Sports 1. They're on Fox Sports 1 tonight. I don't love Creighton this year.
Yeah.
I don't hate them, but I don't love them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're giving me Seton Hall 9.5 on the road, the show is called Taking the Points. I'll take the points.
I am 100% taking the points. I also have family ties at Seton Hall. Shout out my boy Eric Jermaine.
Family ties everywhere.
Well, family ties, but Eric and I we played basketball together for a long time. So he was a student manager on the team for the past 4 years. So I've gotten very well acquainted with Seton Hall basketball. So I will take the points there too. I'm not going to go out on a limb like I did with Arizona State and say they'll win, but I'll take points.
I love it. Let's get to 2 NHL games. How big are you into hockey?
I love hockey.
Are you?
Oh yeah,
I love it. Fandom there?
Well, you got to remember, I grew up in Boston, so my blood is yellow. I know nobody likes it. I get it. No, yeah, I know. My blood is gold. That is for sure.
How far are the Bruins going to go this year?
They've looked bad recently. I shouldn't even say that. They can't win close games. They've lost it's 4 of their last 6 losses maybe have come in overtime, something crazy like that. Wow. Yeah. granted, they're good enough to take some of these tough teams. They've been on a West Coast road trip against some of the best teams in the NHL too.
Yep.
They take them to overtime. They just can't get it done. I don't know. I think Eastern Conference Finals is very realistic. I think they're playing really well. The goalie situation for the past 2 years has scared me. Like I watched it last year in the Panthers series. I can't remember if they took Ullmark out in Game 5 or Game 6, but Game 6 or Game 7. They played Ullmark Game 5. They lost in overtime it was his fault. It was a goalie blunder, but they lost in overtime. And then I can't remember if he played Game 6, but Swayman played Game 7 and they lost in over. Like,
yeah,
the goalie situation scares me, and you got to ride the hot hand. So if one of them gets hot, I trust that team because they can do a lot offensively.
Second in the Atlantic right now are your Bruins.
Yeah.
Obviously they're a playoff hockey team, but the 2 games on the slate tonight are my Columbus Blue Jackets and the New York Rangers. There was a huge fight in the last time they played Blue Jackets Rangers. It was their last game, which was, I believe, on Sunday or Monday. So it was pretty recently. They beat them 4-2 on home ice. I'm going to take the Rangers on the puck line. I'm going to take a -1.5 tonight. Look, the Blue Jackets, as we know, if you're in here and you are a Blue Jackets fan, they're just not good.
No.
And the Rangers are 27. They're 27-0 at home.
Oh.
They're good at home.
Yeah. I didn't know 27-0.
Yeah, they haven't lost at home.
Wow.
27-0 at home.
That's insane. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jackets are going to get killed tonight.
Yeah, I think the Rangers are a much better team. I'm fighting the urge to pick the Blue Jackets, though, because I'll pick, you know what, I'll do it.
Let's go. There we go.
It's their dude. They can't be undefeated at home forever.
No, but I just, if the Jackets didn't just beat them in the last game and there wasn't that big fight, I'd be willing to take the Jackets, but I mean they're gonna be pissed off. They're gonna get booed like crazy, like it's a A1 rivalry in New York tonight. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not with you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take the Rangers. I think this is
I'll take Columbus.
5-1, 5-2.
That's crazy. They've never lost at home.
No, 27-0. I kid you not. They're insane.
Yeah. Wow.
Blues Oilers is the other game on TNT tonight. The Blues are plus 250 on the money line. Edmonton is -300.
Wow.
What do you like to bet in hockey? What's your go-to market? Is it puck line? Is it props again? Do you go over unders in hockey? Where do you like to lean when you bet some stick and puck?
I puck line for the majority of picking games.
Yeah.
Whenever I do a parlay, and this is like for anybody who looks into betting and researches betting, I have found it's really easy to gauge shots on goal because there are certain teams that allow more shots on goal to certain positions, certain paces of play like that. I have found a nice little sweet spot. Compare it kind of depends how creative you want to get with it, but you can bet their line straight, or you can pair 2 guys with take a shot or 2 off their line, and you could probably get their parlay at plus money. So I like shots on goal, but I will go puck line for the most part.
I'm going to go puck line for the Oilers here. I think this is a night where only 2 games on the slate. Both home teams roll with ease. But shots on goal is actually one of the most bet on props at BetJack. So everybody loves taking those props. But I am going to take the Oilers. Connor McDavid's a stud.
Yeah.
He is a stud. 91 points this year for Connor McDavid. He's a beast.
That's crazy.
I'm going both hockey games tonight. I'm taking the home team on both puck lines. Blues Oilers, close it out. Where you rolling?
I'll go with Edmonton as well.
All right. We're split on the Jackets game, but we're tied up on the Blues Oilers game. Max, it was a pleasure having you in.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome to the team. Like I said, consistent daily content is coming from us, so stay tuned for that. Again, you guys know Max on all of his socials, so go follow him out over there. I know he was live with the Instagram and the TikTok. Yes, but we will be back live here soon, guys, so stay tuned. We appreciate it, and we'll come back and see how we did on these picks in the coming time here. So,
yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.